Welcome to the Build on Beauty podcast, where beauty is born skin deep. Now, here's your host, author, speaker, entrepreneur, Cornell Jermaine.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us here for another episode of the Build on Beauty podcast. It's your host, Cornell Jermaine. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is dear to me because it's revolutionized how I move on a daily basis. It's a activation that I've instituted in my daily life that has really helped me to process and think on things in a perspective that keeps me grateful and thankful and moving toward the goal and away from negativity and drama. And as I explain this process to you, I want to reference the scripture, Psalms 34, verse 1 through 3. And that is, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. And this is the intent of this particular episode. Let us exalt his name together. I started something some time ago. It's been some years now. And one day I was walking along on the way into a store somewhere, and I saw a penny. And the Spirit of the Lord said, pick it up, and I picked it up. And he said, every time from now on, when you see a penny on the ground as you go about your day, pick it up and offer thanksgiving. And I said, okay. I said, cool. I don't mind that. But automatically the fleshly side of myself, I must be honest, I save pennies. It's not just pennies, coins, period. Because I don't like coins or change in my pockets. And I hate coins all over the car and stuff like that. And I think when you leave it in your pockets, when you get in the car, it slides. I just hate that. So I often take the change whenever I'm out at a store or doing something. I keep it and I put it in a little cup that's in my car. And as that cup gets so full, I take it and transfer it to these big tin cans that I have at home. And I've had, hundreds of dollars worth. It has to be hundreds of dollars worth of coins. But that's neither here nor there. When I initially got that unction, I automatically thought like, well, ooh, that's cool. That's the way I can, get more coins, because you walk around and pass so many pennies on the ground that you really don't even realize if you picked them up, you would have $1 sooner than you think. So that was my mindset when I initially started, but the Spirit of the Lord had something else in mind because of the activation that he had instructed me to do when I saw the penny and picked it up. And what he said is, you just think of one thing, just think of one thing. And when I started doing this exercise, it caused me to change my perception, because a lot of times when I would pick the pennies up, I wouldn't be in a place of thanksgiving. I'd be in a place of griping, complaining, getting ready to cuss and fuss, or whatever the case may be. And it wouldn't be my automatic response to be thankful, because the situation around me, to me, wasn't thanks or praiseworthy, But this exercise changed my whole perception. And what it would do in those instances, now, not all the time was I walking around finding them and being ready to complain. Because sometimes I would find them and I'd be in the mood that I was in was like, yes, I am grateful. I am thankful. Oh God, you're so faithful. All of that good stuff. But sometimes it wasn't always like that. And I noticed in those moments is when I needed it most. That's in the moments where I was complaining and griping and feeling not so good about the situation I was in. Those were the moments when I needed the pennies. And I started to notice that in those times I would find them, because sometimes I would look around and I wouldn't see any, but in the moments when I needed it most, I would find them. And you should see me now, because it's become such a practice. I walk around sometimes looking for them. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to be thankful, because in this moment I'm about to strangle this whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or hit the roof, go off, whatever the case may be. So I noticed how this little exercise changed my perception. And what it did, it caused me to reevaluate the situation, And what I noticed in those moments is that the things that I was complaining or upset or kind of down about were they were insignificant in comparison to the things that I would think about that I was actually grateful or thankful for, And it caused me to weigh my options. And it really let me know that we are more blessed than we know, than we think. Even from the wealthiest to the poorest or the most affluent to the least of them, we all have something that we can complain about, But at the end of the day, you are more blessed than you really realize. You have more blessing than you do bad, And this is even down to the poorest of people, because sometimes we look at those people that we see sleeping on the park or sleeping here and doing, they don't have a home, seems like nowhere, no food or things of that nature. We look at them in pity and in empathy, because we say, "Oh man, wow," But a lot of times we don't realize some of those people have a bigger heart of thanksgiving or gratitude than we really realize. I've seen and met people, maybe not who were that down, but some people who kind of had it bad, and who when I weighed myself again them, I was like, God, you're faithful. I'm thankful. I'm grateful, but they weren't as upset as you thought they should have been. They weren't as mad and down or depressed as you probably think they are, and that's because somewhere in their heart, they found a reason to be thankful. They found a reason to be grateful, and their situation in comparison, from our vantage point, in comparison to theirs, is not necessarily something to be grateful for, but they found that place. And that let me realize that we can all find that place of praise in our situation. I don't care how bad or how destitute or detrimental, if you will, the situation is, there's a place of praise. But sometimes we have to activate ourselves in order to get there. We have to exercise praise in order to get there. You know what I'm saying? Because I think in so many of our lives, we're so, do I want to say entitled? Because that we've been blessed all of our lives, whether we realize it or not, to the point where any little thing just throws us off our track. Any little thing that we think is inconsistent with what it is that we've experienced just throws us off. And we oftentimes don't realize that, your lack is that man's wealth. You got a pay cut. Yeah, they took some percentage away from you from your wages. But guess what? Even in that, your lack of finances or your pay cut is that man's wealth. He looks at you like, wow, I wish I can make 60 grand. But you're complaining because you got knocked from 90 or 100 grand down to 70 or whatever the case may be. But yet and still, you're still blessed. But on the flip side of it, you may have lost your job completely, but yet you still have a home and a family to come home to. So when you think about it, you're blessed beyond measure. And the bad that's in your life is only as bad as it is because you have chosen to magnify that thing. And this is what the exercise, a penny a day, did for me. It made me think on things that were worthy of my energy. Because the things that you think are bad and that you're complaining about and that you're upset about are sometimes not even worth the energy that you give them. The people that you're mad about are sometimes not even worth the energy that you give them. So if you give that same energy to your praise, to the things that you are grateful for, to the things that are valuable to you, you'll find yourself not only changing your disposition, changing your mindset, changing your heart, but you'll ultimately change your destiny. And it doesn't take a million things. This is what God showed me in this exercise. Sometimes we walking around and running around looking for the nickels and the dimes and the quarters, and the dollar bills, and we don't realize that it don't take all of that. It just takes one thing to be grateful for. One thing. And I'm certain that you can find one thing to praise God about, or to be thankful about, or to be grateful for. There's definitely one. I don't care if you're homeless, without, hungry. I don't care what it is. I guarantee you there is one thing that you can be grateful for. And furthermore, if you can find that one thing, I guarantee you there are probably 5 things. But don't concentrate on the 5, because you'll overwhelm yourself. Think about the one thing. So that's what I did. And sometimes in those moments when I was walking around looking for the pennies, I would see it and not even want to pick them up, because my spirit was in a place where I didn't want to be thankful. I wanted to wallow in my anger. I wanted to. And it was in those moments that I realized that it's a decision, sir. Cornell, it's a decision that you make that changes everything. And I said, you know what? I'd rather be grateful right now. And I would pick it up, and sometimes I would have to think about the little smallest thing. Sometimes I would pick them up and it would be just, wow, God, I thank you for the sunshine. Sometimes I pick them up and it's like, I thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day, this beautiful weather. I thank you for being able to go to the park today and just enjoy the beach. Or I thank you for being able to have the activity of my limbs. I thank you for being able to just the littlest things. And sometimes I would be in that place and I wouldn't have this, I wouldn't have that, or this will be out of sync. So I thought, and that would be out of sync. And I felt as if, but I'm thankful for this, but this situation over here. And that's when God would say, that's my work. You're taking on what belongs to me. See, the exercise of a penny a day not only puts you in a place of thanksgiving and praise and changes your mindset and your destiny, but it allows you to back up and give God his space so he can do what he does. Because oftentimes when we're upset, angry, and mad about stuff and trying to fix things ourselves, we are moving in the God space and we're trying to take over what is really his job. So this is his way of saying, you know what? You stay here. This is where you're supposed to be. This is your job. Praise and thanksgiving. That's your job. This is my job. Stop trying to dabble in my work and fix my stuff. You've been there. You've been there. You've seen it in your workplace, your organizations. You've seen it in your families where the lines get crossed and somebody else trying to step over into your lane, do your job, and it's like no. That's not what you were assigned to do. Stick in your lane. And that's all God says when to me in those moments. Stay in your lane, which is a place of praise. Because in order for me to do this for you, I need you to have a heart of thanksgiving. I can't bless a heart that's bitter. My pastor said that not too long ago, and it rang so true. You can't be blessed with a bitter heart. And when you're angry, complaining and griping and fussing and fighting and cussing, your heart is not in position for blessing. So what does that mean? That means you're causing yourself to go around and around and around this same mountain, just like the children of Israel. Because you chose to murmur and complain, the blessing is there, just a few miles away. The blessing is there, ready for you. But your heart is not positioned. And that's the reason why you're still in the cycle of madness. Because you have chosen to complain, to gripe. And that complaining has led your heart to bitterness. And now it's callous. And now you can't receive the blessing that's right in front of your face. So I urge you today, I admonish you, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, every day from now on for the rest of your days, find a penny of praise. Just one thing. Don't try to think of a bunch of stuff. When you see the penny, and for every penny you pick up, just think of that one thing. And sometimes you only need 1 penny a day. Sometimes you might not even find but 1 penny. Because there are times when I walk along and I go about my day and I find several pennies. And there's certain times when I go about my day and I find just one. And guess what? No matter how many pennies I find, the results are still the same. So all you need is one. And when you find that penny, hold it in your hand and search your heart for the thing that God has blessed you with, and find a place of praise and give it to Him. Find a place of praise and give it to our Lord. Because I guarantee you, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. You may be hungry. You may not have what you want to put on the table. You may not have the clothes you want. You may be walking. You may not even have a home of your own. Or you may have a home of your own and maybe the lights are off or the gas is off. Or they're threatened to evict. Or maybe you have a home and you got food, but your relationship is out of whack. Your marriage is struggling. Or your kids are out of sync and hard-headed and running amok. But whatever it is, it's not that bad. It's not bad enough. Nothing, for that matter, is bad enough for you to forsake the breakthrough, the blessing that God wants to get to you by complaining and murmuring. Nothing is that bad. Because what you say when you complain and murmur and gripe, what you say is, you know what? This is all I see for myself. I'm not concerned about what else that God may be trying to get to me. This is all I see for myself. This is as far as I can see for my life. And I want this situation right here to be better. So ultimately, you're saying there's nothing else in store for you. This is your destiny. This situation right here, this detrimental, destitute place that you've coined it is your destiny. And this is where I want to live. Forget about Canaan land. Forget about the place where milk and honey flows. I'm not concerned about that. Because that's just a figment. The preachers say that all the time. That's just who knows if that's real. I'm trying to hold on to this. Because really inside, I'm scared and afraid that this is all I have. You've made this destination. This is what happens when you complain and murmur. You've made this destination your destiny. And that's not the case. And it's not until you make the decision to be thankful and grateful and offer praise that you will ultimately set up your path so that God could send you into the place of promise. Where you are is not your destiny. Baby girl, young man, young lady, this place is not your destiny. It's where you are. It's where you positioned in order for God to teach you something, to show you what you're made of, to prepare you for the place that He has prepared for you. I don't know what else to say about it. This exercise has blessed my life. So, and I won't act like it's easy. I dare not sit here and act like it's easy to do, because sometimes the situation is so to a place where you just like, oh my goodness, what? And then when you start complaining and griping, then you find yourself in a place of blame, trying to either you're placing the blame on another person. Well, if I hadn't met you, or if you hadn't did this, or you try to shift the blame to yourself, like, oh, I'm so stupid, or you get down on yourself. Then you just find yourself in a whirlwind of drama, and not just drama, but you find yourself in a place where you're ultimately just disintegrating emotionally. You're tearing your own self down for something that is not even your business in the first place. Do your job. Be thankful. Be grateful. And I guarantee you, in that moment, in that place of praise, that place of thanksgiving and gratefulness, He's going to answer your prayers. He's going to show you the path. And before you know it, the situation will be completely different. I mean, a 180. And you'll be like, oh my God, I remember when I was in this place. I remember when our relationship was in this place. I remember when my business was in this place. I remember when my organization or what have you was in this place. And all of a sudden, you'll see the difference that Thanksgiving, that gratefulness can make in your life. Don't keep going in the cycle. And sometimes you got to change, to get out the cycle, you got to change your relationships. Sometimes you got to get rid of some people to get out the cycle, because some people that's all they want. That's all they want to do is complain and murmur. Some people like that place. And sometimes I don't even know if they realize it. You've seen this in your own life. You've seen people around you like this. They like that. They say they don't, but they do nothing to get out of it. But you know what has happened with those individuals? They have stayed in that place of depression so long, because that's what it's taken. They've complained and griped and murmured so long that it's now turned into depression. And then that depression turns into this thing that just makes them. I don't know if you've ever seen someone that's in that place, but it's like their whole countenance is different. A person that has taken on the grief and a heart of that's lacking thanksgiving. And ultimately, they transition into a place of depression, and then they find themselves in a place where everything is just out of whack. A person that's like that, you can see it on their countenance. You can see that lack of ambition, that lack of drive. You can see you look in their eyes. There's no light in their eye. There's no fire in them. Many times it's expressed in how they dress themselves or lack thereof, or how they keep their home or lack thereof. You can see it in every area of their life. And that is a person who has now taken a seat in that place. And they become okay with the circumstance. In the forefront of their mind, they don't like it, but it's become such a habit for them that now it is just out of control. And the more they try, they can't. And the only reason they can't is because their mind has not changed. They haven't made the decision. And many times they need to position themselves, and I don't know who this is for. Many times they need to position themselves around people who can inspire and light that fire in them again so that they can see the destiny that God has for them. But yet and still, there are some who just don't want it bad enough. And unfortunately, we have to find ourselves in a place where we have to just turn away and allow God to do his work. Because what you cannot do is you can't try to pull dead weight. And that's what many have been doing. Many of us have been doing for so long. We've been pulling dead weight, trying to carry your friends and family who don't want anything in life. They don't even see a destiny for their life. You know, they're trying to tag along on your destiny, but they're draining every ounce of energy that you need in order to fulfill your destiny. So guess what? They pull you into their place of depression. And before you know it, you're talking like them, walking like them, acting like them. You have to stop it. Sometimes it's comfortable in those situations. Sometimes you're comfortable around those people because they feed into what it is that you're thinking. And a lot of times we don't want the person around us that's going to tell us the truth and really set our butts on fire so that we do what is right. Many times we just want the person that's going to feed into our negativity. That's not the person you want to be around. Those aren't the people that are going to help you to your place of praise. Those are the people you're going to have to cut off in order to get to your Canaan land. I don't know who this is for. I know it's blessed me. So I'll say that it's for me first. It's really blessed me. You know, and I've made that decision. And I'll just put a pin here. I've made that decision a long time ago. I don't carry dead weight. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. Blood or not. I don't carry dead weight. So if you're going to be attached to me, and this is what I tell people who are in a relationship with me. If you're going to be attached to me, you got to be forward moving. You got to be forward moving. Now I know there are times when you slip and fall and you're feeling bad about your situation, and that's okay. I'm gonna help you up, and because I might slip and fall and do the same thing in the future, and I want you to help me up, But we gonna keep this train moving. But nobody is gonna be around me that's dead weight. And those that are, guess what? I'm not around them because I don't carry dead weight. I can only carry so much on my shoulders. And the weight of my purpose and the destiny is weight enough. Anything more, I'll tumble over and fall. So I know the capacity that I can carry. See, everybody's capacity is different. I know mine. And I've made the decision. The buck stops here. I draw the line. This is what I'm going to accept on this road of promise and purpose. And if you're dead weight, meaning you're somebody that's just want to complain, sit around and gossip, has no ambition for your life, all you want to do is walk around and talk about the negative. All you want to do is sit around and say, woe is me. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Those people I have to leave behind. I didn't say I didn't have to love you, because I can still love you. But I have to leave you behind. Because on this road to destiny, it's all about your decisions. And I've come to realize that. And I've overcome that thing. And I'm saying this because somebody needs to hear this, because you need to know that you need to do the same thing. But I've overcome that place where I feel guilty for not carrying other people's burdens, because there was a time where I did. Because people make you feel guilty about being in relationship with them, when all they want to do is dump. They don't want to help you bear any burdens. They don't want to, every time they just want to dump on you. So I had to make the decision. I'm not the dumpster. I'm not the dumping ground. So if we're gonna discuss an issue, we're going to come and discuss the issue in hopes of coming to a resolve, so that we can find the place of praise and the place of purpose out of the situation. Not so we can wallow in negativity. Not so we can be depressed and lack all the good things that God has in store for us. That's not the purpose of this. If that's what you want, then you get that on your own. But some people carry around that burden because they feel like they have to carry other people's burdens. And you really don't. Especially if this is a well-able, fully grown, capable adult. Stop carrying around their burdens. That's not your problem. And I say all this because sometimes these are the very things that keep us in that place. Because a lot of times when we walking around complaining and murmuring, a lot of times the problems that we're complaining and murmuring about are not even really always directly connected to us. Sometimes it's the result of the actions of other people. And we've taken on their drama. No more. No more. Make the decision that you will do that no more. There's enough there's enough stuff going on in your personal world to keep you on your knees and in the place of praise and thanksgiving and prayer. You don't need the drama of other people. So, a penny a day. That's all it takes. 1 cent to remind you of the one thing that God has done for you that can change your heart, change your mind, and ultimately change your destiny. I admonish you, my brother, my sister, as the text writer says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, that you make a decision to exercise your praise every day, no matter what. When you walk around and you see a penny, pick it up and give a praise. Well, this has been the Build on Beauty podcast, where beauty is born skin deep. I'm your host, Cornell Jermaine. Until next time, let your soul be made whole. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Build on Beauty podcast. For more information about our host, please visit CornellJermaine.com.